At the residents' meeting on the 30th of September, Mr. Colton Jr., owners of the Shirland Golf Club, confirmed that the proposal requires 70 lorries per day, or 140 trips to and fro, each with 20 cubic metres of what he referred to as builder's rubble, which weighs a total of 40 tonnes per vehicle. This will travel 5.5 days per week over 18 months. Lorries of this capacity are articulated, and we're now going to take you along what he advised to be the proposed route from Alfreton through Oakerthorpe to the top of Sheep Lane and on to Higham, pointing out various hazards on the way. We are now turning off the A61 at Alfreton and onto the A615. We're approaching now the new mini roundabout, and we're going to turn right and through a very beautiful residential area of Alfreton, with Alfreton Park on our right. Further up on our left is Cheshire Homes, accommodating several elderly and disabled residents. And the first hazard sign we see is of elderly people crossing, with the park entrance seen here on our right. Next we come to a sign showing abandoned on double white lines and chevrons, all alerting drivers to the hazard. And this is followed very closely by bus stops on opposite sides of the road. And on our right is the entrance and the exit to the Alfreton Riding School. We see here a slow sign on the road, and in the same photograph on the camera we see the unrestricted speed limit as we head off towards Oakerthorpe. On the opposite side of the road is a sign warning oncoming vehicles of horses on the road. Here we see a sign indicating a slippery road surface as we enter 40 mph speed limit. We are now travelling down the hill and towards the T-junction and the traffic lights at Oakerthorpe. The 40-tonne articulated lorries will then turn right at the traffic lights and head towards the B6013. And grind their way through the gears as they climb up the hill past the Peacock. And as we climb towards the B6013, we can see that this road is not designed for heavy articulated lorries, as we see a 7.5 weight limit for this road ahead. And there are some particularly bad areas on this road which we can point out to you as we go down. There is a gradient warning of 12% going into a very narrow bad bend. And as we carry on round the narrow bends, we head down towards a very narrow bridge with a sign partially obscured on the left hand side. There is a slow sign on the road alerting drivers to the hazard ahead. And when we cross the bridge, we stop and look back at the oncoming traffic, where we can clearly see a construction vehicle heading its way over the bridge, and as you'll notice, it's taking up 3/4 of that road. The same thing would happen with a 40-ton articulated lorry. The road now starts climbing again towards the Amber Hotel. And the junction to Wessington and Cryche. And as we head on up the hill, we come to the straightest section of the B6013 between Higham and Oakerthorpe, which is a very dangerous part of the road. Cars are often seen overtaking here well in excess of the maximum 60-mile-an-hour speed limit. And we will see here on the right Sheep Lane Bridle Path, which is the proposed entrance and outlet for the new development site, seen here on our right. We are now continuing on the road towards Hallfield Gate. Over a blind rise and round a couple of bends and into Hallfield Gate itself. The maximum speed limit reduces to 40 miles per hour, but that is still very fast going through a very difficult and dangerous crossroad, particularly for traffic turning right out of the road from Wessington. The road continues with a 40 mile per hour speed limit until it reaches the beautiful village of Higham, where the speed then reduces to 30 miles per hour. And the traffic warning signs showing speed humps for the next 500 yards as we drive towards the A61. Past the road from Wessington on our left, which has a very blind exit for traffic pulling out of there. As we drive through the village, you will notice parked cars on the right hand side for residents, and it considerably narrows the road for passing traffic. And as we reach the junction at the A61, that completes our film, highlighting the hazards on the road from Alfreton via Oakerthorpe to Higham. If the golf club owners are successful in their application to landfill the proposed site, there is nothing legally stopping the 40-ton articulated lorries from passing through Higham off the A61 to access the tipping site, and they may do this from the opposite direction to our film. We may soon be seeing 70 articulated 40-ton lorries per day for 5.5 days per week for the next 18 months to landfill the site, with 500,000 tons of inert material.